But that's also why I brought up earlier and I said, look, I'm not a scholar. And the reason, one of those reasons is because I am not here to give legal verdicts. I have no authority to give a legal verdict on anything, like a fatwa. That's what we can't give, I am not allowed to give fatwas. In order for me as a practitioner in Islamic finance to do anything, I will consult the Sharia scholar. Yeah, so that's something that I have to touch on because of what I read recently in a book by Mufti Faraz Adam, Prophetic Finance and Economics.
Oh.
We were talking about, in there he talks about the three different types of people you get in the industry. So you get the scholar, which is Sharia scholar, you get the practitioner, and then you get the layperson. So the practitioners and the laypersons are not in a position to declare anything haram or halal, which is prohibited or permissible
Okay.
or detested, or we are not in that position to tell someone else, especially in a matter of disagreement, or in a matter of fiqh issues where there can be difference of opinions.
This is crazy, actually. Yo.
So, in fact, what he says, which is very interesting to me in the book, is, and it opened up my mind. This is a book I read before I go sleep every day. So you go sleep with that on your mind. So he says that the one scholar will come to a verdict based on, and this is someone who does fatwas, must be someone that is very well versed in Sharia and Sunnah and Quran, and he knows all the different parts to this one topic that he's busy studying to come to a fatwa, to come to a legal verdict. Nobody can just do that.
Yeah.
So just because one scholar came to a verdict on this and said, okay, this thing, in his opinion, based on these evidences, he would consider this thing not permissible. And then another scholar says no, based on his evidences in the Sharia, he says no, it seems to be that it is permissible. And then you'll get the layperson saying, no, I'm with this one. And they almost like they latch themselves on there. And they will look at the other ones that is following the one that said it is permissible, like you're wrong. And looking at yourself as right. But the two scholars who came to the answers don't look at each other like that. They don't deem the other one or
less credible.
Invalidate
the
other one's
or
opinion.
send them off to Jahannam, to hellfire, because you're doing it the wrong way. The scholars don't do that. Similarly, if you look at Imam Shafi, who's the youngest or the younger scholars if you look, of the madhabs,
Yes.
he learned from Imam Abu Hanifa and he learned from Imam Malik. And then he learned from them, and that's how he came to his opinions in his madhab, in his methodology of following Islam.
Yes.
And he didn't scoff at the one and scoff at the other one and think they're wrong. He just had a different opinion based on a fiqh issue.
Yes.
Islamic jurisprudence
It's the
issue.
interpretation of it, basically, and
So-
making it practical at the end
So
of
we
the
mustn't
day.
be gunning each other just because we see that. But are they saying, no, I can use life insurance because the fatwa said this in South Africa. And then the other one says, no, you're going to go to Jahannam because you're using something that is Riba based and all that stuff. Like, we can't do that as the layperson.
We're not
Yes.
qualified enough to make those.
So the people in the
comments,
comment section coming and saying,
Hey!
haram, or what they are doing in them saying, and I give them credit in this, saying, you have a good intention. You're trying to warn your brother. You're trying to warn your brother and sister against doing the wrong thing. So the intention is good.
But I've heard something about that. I have to
Yeah.
break you. What I've heard, I don't know where it was. I think it was, I saw a TikTok about that. And this used to do somewhere in the UAE, I think it was, where as a Muslim, if I think you're wrong, I should come to you privately and tell you, listen here, in private. I
Yeah.
shouldn't do it in front of other
Publicize it,
people.
Yep.
Because I know in like Arab countries, they can even go up to the crown prince and tell them something in private. Say, look, this is wrong. But you can't publicly say it. It's like actually a crime in those countries. And so, is that actually a thing?
So there's etiquette when it comes to disagreement. You don't want to put it out there for everybody to see, because what's going to happen? The layperson's going to take sides.
And
And
that
they're gonna-
causes
They're
divide.
going to end up bad-mouthing the other person unintentionally. Because they took the side of this person that they, to their knowledge, thought is in the right. And because of this, the other one is wrong. But the problem with that is you are now going to badmouth someone who is a scholar in Islam. And you as the layperson who's never touched Quran and Sunnah, but you're talking about Quran and Sunnah because you heard your sheikh say it. That hearing your sheikh say it is not enough to come to a conclusion on anything. And the sheikh who's teaching you will tell you the same thing. Similarly with my teachers, they told me you must at least go to 3 different scholars before you can come to a final decision. And your final decision is not summa after those 3 opinions that you're getting from the scholars, it's after you go make istikhara. You take counsel with Allah.
Yes.
So the idea there is you make your effort first, and then you come to Allah and you ask Him, please give me guidance here, guide me
Yeah.
towards the
3
right
different
one.
opinions. Guide me to which is the right one, basically. So
And
Exactly.
the one that is in the best interest of my deen, my life, my livelihood, and my affairs, my personal to me.
yes.
Because
Yeah.
Allah might take someone else, might take you and guide you to that, but guide me away from it because it's good. It's not good for me, but it's
It's
good,
good
for you.
Exactly.
Mm.
You see, so it's different for everybody. But again, this is in matters of fiqh. So the point I wanted to make earlier is the people coming into the comment section.
Haram police.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
So
It is
now-
out of the police.
So now it's even though the intention is maybe good, yeah, you want to warn, and you're telling me it's haram, and I disagree with you, and you start straying with me in the comments, you are violating the Sharia by trying to rectify me, but the way you're doing it is ugly.
Yeah.
The one brother's calling the other brother a hypocrite.
Yeah.
You know what a hypocrite is in Islam? Munafiq.
Mm.
You know how bad that sounds? If someone here munafiq is like, whoa, I'm not calling you
Hey.
that, my bro. But
Hey.
you're calling me a hypocrite.
Mm.
You're saying doing one thing, but I'm doing the other thing,
Yeah.
which is what is called
It's
munafiq.
like a
in
swear word.
Islam.
It's a swear
Yeah,
word.
it's
Just
a
wait,
derogatory
wait.
So
term,
when I
actually.
mention,
Run, bro. If you hear, I've heard that between uncles before. Then I'm like, what's going on here?
It's
At that
actually
time,
a
I was
serious
ignorant.
thing, yeah.
I
It's
was
very
ignorant to
serious.
it still because I
Yeah.
was still a new Muslim. But now, yeah, they're arguing in the parking lot. The imam come out, he's like, both of you go inside. You go that side, you go that side. To ask Allah for forgiveness. I'm just like, this means just arguing. I'm like, come on, have it. I'm like, so yeah, this is my first Jumu'ah, yeah? What's this about? But then I learned as I was like, yo, that's actually...
yeah. And to
Hectic.
call someone a hypocrite is what? Is to make a judgment call on that what that person has in their heart.
Mm.
You
You
can
don't know.
never
Well, you
know,
can't
bro.
see
don't
what's
know.
happening
Mm.
there.
You don't know. You can't. You have no right to make that call.
So yeah, that was a
At
7-minute message for the haram police.
Yeah, be careful how you do it. I have no problem someone calling me out.
Mm.
And I won't respond like that. I won't, even if you call me out, you can watch my videos and you'll see.
Yeah.
Whenever someone says something, I'm very chilled about it.
Mm.
Yeah, like, I want to talk about that because TikTok now. I've seen people slander each other and Igshaan in his comment section, and he just come there. What it is, Igshaan? Like, yes, you know, that is all
Very
love
chilled.
and chilled and peace, and you coming rah 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 rah. M word here, K word here. You know what I mean? I'm just like what?
So that is purely me being aware of the position I'm in. I'm on social media. I'm representing who? I'm representing Islam. And Islam is what?
It's
It's peace, and you want Allah's pleasure. If I'm gonna now come out and bash this person for what he's saying, then I was not being a good Muslim,
Mm.
and I'm not gonna attain Allah's pleasure by doing that because I want to prove a point to him.
Mm.
The best I can do is try and engage with the person, and I find when I start asking questions, then they also can't answer the questions
Mm.
because you're saying this is haram or this is
But
permissible.
why?
But why? And I start asking questions, and they ask me for evidence. I'm like, firstly, you're asking for evidence that you yourself can't even read, that you yourself didn't even go look for yet. So if I'm gonna show it to you, if I show it to you, it's
you're
gonna be
not gonna
unfair
know.
to you to show you. Okay, here's the evidence. Now you read it in isolation of all the other evidences in Islam. That's not the way you do. In order to go learn that evidence, you must go sit in a class and go learn your.
Yeah. It's
you
not gonna
learn
take. It's
the
not just
Islam.
one piece of paper that's gonna
Yeah,
prove
you
something
can't just
now.
Google
Yeah.
how. What does the hadith say about this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's I mean, why is there then scholars that went into so much depth and took
Exactly.
years to study to understand a verse in the Quran
Mm.
or a hadith and how
Yes.
it links to each other, and then you expect me to come out and do that again? I'm not a Sharia scholar.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
speak on what I've learned thus far as a practitioner,
Yeah,
and I'm confident in what I'm saying because I did ask more than 3 scholars about what I'm saying.
exactly.
Mm.
You follow the process.
Maybe I can't give you the Arabic because I don't. It's not my native language, but I can refer you to the evidence. But when I give it to you, you must go and sit with the scholar to find out is what he's saying the correct thing or not.
Mm.
That is the process of finding out what you must do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's Sayyidina Umar who said that. Radiallahu anhu, who said that before you can go into the market, you must first be knowledgeable about what you're going. Like if you're going to the marketplace, you're gonna go the souk, what they say, the shopping center. You must first
The
have
souk.
knowledge of how to go and do shopping before you go, because if you don't have knowledge, it's very likely you're gonna fall into riba without knowing it.
Yeah, no.
To that extent, you must go.
I was just saying.
That's mad,
Earlier we
man.
were just saying like, I hate going to the malls.
We were talking
like,
about that.
I will go to the mall or I'll go to shops when I know I'm going for a specific purpose. I need to buy X, Y, and Z, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was now it was basically pay week now, right? The shops are full. I had to get stuff for the house. We had to be in the mall.
Yeah.
So I was walking so fast. My wife was trailing behind. She's like, "You're walking so fast." I'm like, "Yeah, because I want to get out of here. I don't want to be walking around here the whole time. I want to get out of here. I have a purpose."
Yes. No, I was.
And we were just saying, talking about it earlier.
Because for me again, Maf, now exactly, we're talking about in the car now, way man. I'm like, that's why if my wife wants anything, I say buy it online. Because when we've gone shopping before, the two of us, we in Canal work for 7 hours for my whole day. You know what I mean? From 12 o'clock until 5 o'clock, or we wait till the mall closed.
Window shopping, like
You know,
crazy.
It's not even just window shopping, man. Like, for example, I know the layout of Canal Walk. Not because I'm as old as Canal Walk. But I know the layout of Canal Walk.
You brought it up.
That's for emo. That is for emo. That's for emo. Yeah. But I know Canal Walk, man. So I know, okay, Checkers is on that door.
Yeah.
Pick and Pay is on that door. Clicks is here, whatever.
Oh, you got the man.
Yeah, got him dying here. Still got it, bro.
Yo,
Still got it.
you went there again.
Yes, I went there.
Oh.
I don't forget.
Yeah.
Us Gen Zs, we petty. We're very petty.
Prove my
Gen
point.
Z.
Over
petty.
and over, prove my point.
Yes, of course. Till this day. But,
But,
yeah,
you
so
know
anyway,
it.
so when I go to the mall, I'm like, okay, cool, I know the layout of Canal Walk, man. But now, so I'm like, okay, cool, we need this product, that product, this product. So that means, okay, only Woolworth sells that. Only Checkers has that. Only Discount has that. Okay, I must go to the pet store. Okay, there's a pet store on the side and a pet store on that side. Okay, here's a tobacconist there. I can soon get cigarettes on the way out.
Yeah.
So I will be in Canal Walk for 35 minutes and I'll get everything. Baby stuff, whatever. But then we go together. Now we're walking. She's like, oh, I want to go to Checkers. And I'm like, but we buy Pick and Pay now. You said you wanted to go to Pick and Pay. Then you must walk a whole 1 kilometer to get to the other side. Then by the time we get there, like, I'm actually hungry. Can't we go to King Pie? But this King Pie is under renovation. That one is open, so we must walk back that way. So then it's like, okay, now on our way there, she sees, oh, but this is a nice jacket here. But true, let me go in here quickly.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's not a thing. I find that these characteristics are not just my wife.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of
Why do you think the
people.
mall was set up that way?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like 70% of
I want what I see.
it's not even just that though. Like the funny thing about it is 70% to 80% of shopping places are women. 80%. That's why women
It's
get the
catered for
credit.
women.
It's catered for women, and it's not a misogynistic comment. It's facts. You can go look this up. 80% of the customer base of clothing stores and confectionery items are female, whereas the other side, the other 10%, the shops that a man goes into Canal Walk, there was a survey done. The weapon shop, no? There's a weapon shop called, I think it's called, not
Blades
Gadget
and
Time.
Running.
Blades,
Gadget
that
Time,
place,
Blades
nah,
or
Gadget Time is the
something.
anime shop, but it's a blade place.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
You
my
know-
other shop.
Yeah.
That shop,
You see, he knows the shop.
yeah, that shop, no, is visited by 90% males.
Makes sense.
The 10% of females that come in there with their partners.
Mm.
So it's 100% male,
Ah.
practically. Checkers, 50-50. Woolworths, 70-30. More females than males. But the crazy part is this. What's the shop called? Not Bling. What's the shop called? Where they buy soaps and goodies?
Body shop.
No, not Body Shop, man. Where you can Lush.
Lush, yeah.
98% female. And I'm like, there's a survey that they did where they showed each shop's literal customer base.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, that made me understand that, okay, this is how I need to avoid going to the malls with my wife. I love you, babe, but I can't do it no more. I can't do it. So when I go shopping, I have a plan. Okay, I'm going there, and there. If I need to get this, I'll go there.
Yeah.
And that's before I go. And sometimes I even look at, okay, this is your online prices, so I can see, okay, because 90% of the time online stuff costs more money
Yeah.
too. So now I look, okay, this game online, the nappies is 270. But if I go into this game, it's 230. So now I'm like, okay, cool, I must go to this game, 230 for the nappies instead of 270 online plus 50 rand delivery fee. You know what I mean? So now, that's the thing, man. It's important to actually
So
plan
when you
ahead,
go with
bro.
wife, it's when it's an outing. When you go with
Yeah.
yourself, it's with a purpose.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
So
Yo,
that's why if you
exactly
go
it.
with wifey, you soon go for supper in the mall. You know
Yeah,
what I
if
mean?
I go shopping on my own, I'll go in just a pants and a hoodie and whatever. But if I go with my wife, it's like, okay, I must put on clothes now.
Yeah,
Because
same.
you're gonna
Look
be
like
there
a-
for a while. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're gonna be there for a while, so you have to get dressed. Yeah.
Yo, brush my hair so that I must wear this. I must, because also you
You
don't want
must
to.
shower first before you
Yes.
go.
Yeah, you know what I mean. We've spoken about this before, also. Yes, sis. Anyway, before we end up
digress.
speaking for 5 hours, there was a question I wanted to ask you around, the financial planning in your.
Before we get there,
Yes, you were
there's
telling
a-
us. Is there
the,
story?
no, you asked me what do I actually do, so I must answer that question.
Yeah,
still.
no, that's where I was going with us now.
Okay.
Because I researched what you actually do.
Okay.
I think there's 5 things that you do
That you actually
that
do.
that's on your profile, so to say. It's Islamic wills, Sharia pre-retirement and annuities. If I say the annuities, I don't know how to my English. Sharia post-retirement investments, income after retirement, and
Yeah.
then Sharia life cover, and then Sharia car, home and business insurance. That's things that you.
This is stuff I
That's-
focus on, yeah.
Is that the only 5 things? Is that broad scale? Is that small scale? How does that?
So, when it comes to this, there's a host of things that you can do in financial planning to assist a client. So you can either do everything, or you can specialize in some of the stuff.
Okay.
So those are sort of the main touch points for me, where I think I can have the most impact.
Okay.
Not just for the client, but for myself as well. Because at the same time, we're trying to earn a living.
Yes.
So, with I find with investments, especially retirement, people are saving. Those are some of the main things you want to do in your life. Is have your savings down, especially just saving for the sake of saving, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You must know how to do that in a Sharia compliant way. Then you have saving for the future, which is when you are living or working in such an environment, like your job is such that you're gonna retire. You're gonna have to retire. You're not an entrepreneur, so you have to build something for when that time comes. Some people are entrepreneurs, even if they retire, the business is working for them. That's a different scenario. So that retirement annuity might not be applicable to that person unless they want it now. Then it's post-retirement. Now you get to retirement age. You're like, okay, where am I going to invest my money? So you get the people that's working in the government work, and they got the GEPF, the Government Employment Pension
Yes.
Fund. So they're sitting there and they're like,
Do
the
they
money's
still have
been,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's managed by one of the biggest.
Nah, unless like somebody in
investment
government takes it, because you know how it goes in this country.
Well, it used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak there. I don't know what's happening in the government side of the
Yeah,
corruption
well,
and
like,
stuff.
is it still there even?
We will have an episode this season. We're gonna cover the GNU, but not
Okay.
today. Not today.
Yeah, but it's people wanting, like, they're just not aware of the fact that these things exist. I can put my money into Sharia compliant products. Even the wills, they don't. A lot of Muslims don't know that there is a specific law set out in the Quran for what must happen after you pass away. Who must get what from my estate?
I was actually gonna ask you a question about that my
Yeah.
wife asked me. But let's first talk about
Yeah.
the 5 points, and then I'll.
So
I have
similarly,
questions.
people are not aware of of where I can put my money, place my money. Because people, you work your whole life, you don't specialize in investments. You just I want my money to go there, and it must take care of my affairs. But for a Muslim, it goes a step further. I can't just put my money anywhere because I can't eat from riba. Riba, we don't have this reaction like my teacher says. We must have the same reaction for riba like when someone puts a plate of pork in front of you. As a Muslim, that's like, oh, I think it's disgusting. Like you get this immediate nah reaction. I know,
I just had it. Yeah, I just realized. I saw this got me now. This actually messes my head now. I saw a TikTok once, no, where this bro was like, like, okay, hey bro, we're gonna go out tonight. Yeah, bro, we're gonna drink. Yeah, let's go. Hey bro, we're gonna go to the trance party. Yeah, bro, let's go. Is the food halal here?
Yeah.
You buy a TP, you drinking, what you like is the food halal. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just, so that same.
that is the state of
Not that we're
of some
judging,
Muslims,
but
yeah.
it's the case.
It's-
Like
yeah,
I've
it's
had
true.
conversations with people because obviously I'm a revert. I've eaten pork before.
Yeah.
It's not that nar that when you eat it, it actually tastes very
It's not
nice.
that
But let me tell you this:
Yeah.
the problem that I have about it is that people, like a lot of the people I grew up with, the Muslims, when you say the word pork or you eat a bacon
Like a swear
sandwich,
word.
they're like, "Oh my god!" But earlier on, sy het nou my ma uitgevloek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if I take out the bacon sandwich, it's like dynamite, like kryptonite.
It's like that is evidence of what was taught.
It's
to
cultural,
us.
man.
It's the evidence of what was taught to us
Yeah.
over time. that some things were here in Cape Town. I find that when you talk about Islam, it's very much rules based and not understanding why I must follow the rules. Why must I make salah? Why must I fast? For who? Who is Allah? Why must I believe in Him? That understanding of who Allah is, like, before getting to actually following the rules. Because if you understand who Allah is and why it is you must love Him and the Prophet ﷺ and follow Him, it's a natural occurrence that you're gonna want to make salah. You're gonna want to fast.
It's taught you do it because I say so.
Yeah.
That's how it's taught. It's like you do it because I say so, because for example, we're your parents and we say you must do it, so you do it.
So that's what happened with the pork thing.
I've
So we
also-
get that the disgust we get for the pork is not, and I also, it's not the fact that I'm gonna taste it. It's what Allah says in the Quran.
Yes,
And
so
how
you
we-
should have that approach to anything
Yes.
that doesn't.
so with the
please Allah.
riba, we must get that same feeling, like, oh,
Mm.
but like, why must I get involved in
What
it?
is that?
What is that, brother? Eat on the floor, brother.
The riba on the floor, brother.
Eat with your hands, brother.
so for the people, this is an important one. For the people who are stuck in the riba case, whether it's a car, a home, or an investment, with an investment is a bit more flexible. You can take it out. But for those stuck in that position, the best you can do is make the intention that you want to get out of it for now, and then work towards doing that. It's going to be very difficult for some people to just get out of it because they're stuck in it, they're locked in it. So you must develop this disgust for it and the distaste for it, and then ask Allah to remove it from you, and then work from there, making actual effort towards making a change.
You have to
That's
put
the
in the
best you
work.
can do for now.
You have to
Yeah.
put in the work, because you
That's
can make
crazy,
the
yeah.
intention all good and well, but you just carry on with every day as per normal. It's not
Yeah.
really going to do
You mustn't go make your life harder
Mm.
to do that.
Mm.
You must take action steps that's going to be beneficial to you and your family also.
Don't cut up your credit card summa now after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm throwing this in the bin, brother. No, like, relax.
Get rid of the debt,
Yeah,
pay it off slowly,
Mm.
with an intention that you're wanting to please Allah, and then Allah will facilitate it for
Everything
you.
else,
You're going to be
exactly.
tested. Another new shiny thing's going to come in front of you, and you're like, I can use this 50k in the bank, on a credit card,
Yeah.
Just adding to it. Nah, don't do that. Become disciplined, and through that, Allah will remove that difficulty from you.
Yeah, yo, that's crazy, no? Touched on so much things now. There's so much,
Yo.
no? Like, do you have any questions?
I more wanted to just find out, like, you do wills and the what is it?
The
The
Estate planning.
the estate planning, yeah,
and
that's
so
the-
on. So, generally speaking, right, in Islam, how is basically I pass away? How is my estate and everything? Like, just a
So-
general overview, not
Yo,
specifics.
that's mad. Wait,
You wanted to know
that's,
about this.
that's the thing, because
Yeah.
Yusra, my wife, asked me. She
I
said,
know,
like,
you spoke to me. That's
know,
why I'm asking.
that's crazy, because, like, I was going to ask that, but it's like, this is the word. Let me ask you the question exactly like she asked it to me. She said, you die tomorrow, me. What does Isra get? What does father get? What does Muhammad Yusuf get?
Yeah.
What do I get as the wife, and what do your children get directly from the money that you have or the equity or stuff that you own? How
Yeah.
does that work?
From all the assets.
Everything, because obviously, I was smart about it. My kids are sorted. Alhamdulillah. I made sure I took prerequisites before having children. But what happens in that situation? All of a sudden, I dropped it now.
Yeah.
My janazah's later on or tomorrow morning. What does my wife do? Or how does the money get
Well,
split?
firstly-
The proper way.
Yeah. Firstly, there is laws on this in the Quran already, right? And that's a starting point. Is that Allah tells us who must get what based on certain conditions. So it's not just your whole family's gonna inherit. There's certain conditions because there's a family tree of heirs to your estate, and depending on what the condition is at the time of your passing, that rule will apply. But we live in South Africa where they don't recognize the Sharia. And for us, it's very important to get the Sharia to be applied on the estate. If you don't have a valid will in South Africa, the Sharia, you can't get the Sharia to apply. But they recognize the will document as a legal document where you have freedom of testatorship, meaning you can put in the will what you want, what you decide. For a Muslim, this is sort of our trump card. we use that to our advantage to say we want our estates to be administered according to Sharia.
Sharia.
That's
That's the starting point. So this is why it's very important to have the will.
Mm.
Besides the evidence in the Quran and from the Sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ says that you must have a will. You must have a will written and kept ready with you.
Mm.
You mustn't go 2 nights without having a will written and kept ready with you, right? And then there's Quran verse in I forget it now. I think it's 180 in Surah Baqarah. Can rectify me whoever's the Hafid. That when you have something that you're leaving behind, you must make sure it goes to the family, right? I'm saying family, but it's specific. I think it's parents or something like that. But the point is that Allah's telling you where it must go. And then in Surah An-Nisa, Allah tells you exactly what the shares are.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think about it. It's there already with the conditions. So that is the evidence from the Quran and Sunnah that you must have your will, right? And then in South Africa, the evidence is that if I don't have the will, my estate will be administered according to government's law. Government's law is not Sharia compliant.
Yes.
Hey, and if the government's involved, guess who's not getting your money? I've seen this.
It's a risk, yeah.
I've seen it play out. I've seen it play out with my grandmother. You know, obviously my family, none of them are Muslim, so it's like, you know, it's government first. You know, it's not secular, it's Christian based, but it's more the government is what matters. So it's like, yeah. So that's crazy. Okay, yeah. There's taxes that they take, and there's money that that's let's not go there.
Not of the legal expenses, yeah. And that's the part that a lot of people miss. But to answer that first, who's going to get what? We'll get to the legal expenses. But who's going to get what is, in the world, firstly, we understand now there's evidence in the Quran and Sunnah. There is reasons why in South Africa why you must have it, because if you don't have it, it's going to go according to government's law. So you have the will to say it must go according to Sharia. When you say it goes according to Sharia, you don't have to exactly specify who the heirs are. Because by saying it must go according to Sharia, it's already telling us we must refer to the Quran and the Sunnah to determine who the heirs are only at the time of your passing. So that's the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to look at who is available to be an heir to my estate.
What the family tree currently looks like at that time.
Yeah.
Right. So your scenario you said was this is your wife.
I've got my wife, my 2 daughters, my eldest daughter, my middle daughter, and my younger son.
Okay, so there must be
the 5 of us.
So in order one of the conditions to inherit is you must be Muslim.
Yeah.
So if your parents must inherit, but if they're not Muslim, they won't get anything.
Sorry, mom and dad.
But there's a way for them to get something.
Violent.
Yo, that's all the reverts know this pain. Every single revert, its parents are not, you know this pain. There's so many things that we can't do for our parents, but we still love our parents. But still,
yeah. I'll touch on that, how you can do something for them. And it's actually very close to what the share would have been if you were to give them something. So it will be your wife, you'll get an 8. Your son and the sons will get 2:1. That's the ratio. So whatever is left after the prescribed shares were given will be split 2:1. So your son will get, so if there's 75% left, son gets 50, daughter gets 25%. So that will have to be split up amongst all the children that you do have. But that's sort of a basic understanding of what they're going to get. But why is it set out like that? It's because the way Allah, and this is now going to get onto gender roles, which is a massive discussion.
This is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of it. And I'm going to tell you why, Maf, before you jump into that. I've said this many times before. The roles and the responsibilities of a man in Islam versus a woman, different. The roles of a woman as a wife versus a daughter, different. Mother, different. But it's all there for you. It's black and white. That's one of the reasons why I'm Muslim today, because there's always a rule, and it's in a book or from a school. There's like right there. It's black and white. And so this is not for the people who are not Muslim, and for the people who say we are misogynists. This is based on what we have learned from black and white from books.
You know what now? The people who say misogynist is like they're talking about you are hectic on the rules of the females. No?
Yeah.
Like you have something against it. Here's the thing. What man, knowing our lower base desires, we want to see naked females. What man is going to tell a woman to dress up? You think it's counterintuitive. Like you want the woman you want her to be undressed, but what Islam says is she must be dressed up.
And
it's not, I said, what did I say? Islam teaches us that is what she must do. not the man in Islam.
Yeah.
True.
Allah says this because Allah understands the weakness of a man. That's one of the reasons.
Yes.
The main reason is pleasure of Allah. The woman's going to dress that way for the pleasure of Allah.
Mm.
And most women in Islam, they do it because they want Allah's pleasure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not because a man, the husband, or the imam said it in the masjid. It's because that is what. When you submit to the will of Allah, you must submit to the will of Allah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's as simple as it is. So everybody, it's like, well, you are oppressive to the female. The female's doing it. There's some females not married, but they're doing
They're
it.
still doing it.
Yeah.
Their fathers are gone. They don't have brothers. They're alone in the world. They're still living like that by
Mm.
choice.
Yeah.
Are they also being oppressed?
I've
What
had-
man is standing over them?
True.
I
True,
had
that's a-
I
yeah,
had a
that's a very
conversation
good
with
point.
someone who was secular, actually. Like, they weren't religious at all. Like, he said, oh, so you chose this extremist religion where you oppress women. So I said, okay, let me make it secular for you real quickly. I said, you drive a Ferrari, no? He's like, yes. I say, what Ferrari do you like? He's like, Ferrari Enzo. I'm like, good, that's a collector's item. You drive a Ferrari Enzo. Are you going to park that Ferrari Enzo in an overpark? He's like, what do you mean? So I said, are you not gonna put it in a garage, cover it up? You're actually not gonna go live, you're actually gonna move out of an overpark, correct? He's like, yes. I said, why? He said, because they'll steal it, or they'll look at it, or they'll scratch it. I said, the same way you like normal things, that's how we are for our women. Like, I'll protect my wife like that, I'll protect my daughters like that. Because they prized possessions. That's how and so he was like, oh, okay. I said, so I'm not gonna tell her she must wear a scarf, like, because she must. I will remind her, yes. But I'll say that Allah says you must.
Yeah.
You know? Because why? It's like you said, it's to please Allah.
The status of a
This-
woman is high in Islam because
You know how much
People don't
room,
understand
My
that.
bro.
Nah? People do not
they're the
understand
only
that.
person who can actually bring another life into the world.
my bro, do you know
It's
how
mad.
much, no? Do you know how much more women get than men in Islam?
Yeah, and how easy it is.
You
You
don't
know-
just, like, we must look after ourselves. We must protect ourselves. We don't need the female to protect us.
Mm.
We're not designed that way. We don't need them to buy us anything.
Mm.
Not saying we don't need them. We're not. Allah didn't set it out that way. But on the other side, the woman she has the right over us to be provided for. She has a right over us to be protected
And it's our duty to do it.
and to put a roof over their head and to
Yep.
give them clothing and to look after the children and all that,
And now you have daughters, no? Now this is now for
And
the
spend on
dads.
them from the inheritance money also.
Yes,
So the boy gets more because he must look after his mother and his sisters.
sisters.
Because it comes, that
And
money comes with
and
responsibility.
that's where we were going with. And I was saying this to someone the other day. Like, people don't realize this, no? When you marry someone's daughter, you have to provide for them. Now you have your own daughter. You must nafaka that daughter until they get married.
Mm.
You have a son when he turn 18. Safe.
But does the woman have that responsibility? She doesn't.
Mm.
She has other responsibilities given to her by Allah. So our roles differ from each other, but we all have equal opportunity.
Together.
Mm.
Where do we have equality? In terms of deeds to attain Allah's pleasure.
Yes.
Mm.
That's where we are equal. No woman and man is different when it comes to worshipping Allah.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
Mm.
only difference is in this world, this realm that Allah created for us. It's only here where our roles differ. But everything else, in terms of worshipping Him, we're on equal playing
Mm.
field.
Everybody has equal opportunity.
There
with
was
regards
a
to
lot
that.
of
That's true.
controversy. Maf, there was a lot of controversy about the son getting more, man. But I also think it's because of Western culture. I heard this on the radio. One of our future guests that's coming on the show this season spoke about this on the radio. If you study Islam in a westernized university, right? If you study Islam from a westernized perspective, it's in your face. They're showing you that it's wrong.
Mm.
For example, they will put Islamic scholars or philosophers' date of death in the bracket next to their name, but they won't put it next to Aristotle. They won't put it next to Plato, next to Nietzsche, which tells you what? That they're telling you this bruh stuff don't make sense. He died. This is something, and I was like, huh? And then he went deeper into what he was saying, and it made me think, man. Like, the westernized society wants to draw you away from things that are practical. And so today's time, it's hard to be a man in a world where your religion is considered extreme and oppressive. But it's because they look at, like I said earlier on, they're ignorant to the other sides of the coin.
yeah.
So they just see us oppressing our wives and telling them to wear scarves, but they don't see that our wife has more. They get more from us
Yeah.
and from their dads, and they require
They
more.
have so much rights over us.
Yeah.
Given to them by who? By Allah.
Mm.
Allah gives them those rights over us.
It wasn't
we
a man that decided
no.
women should get X. That it
uh,
didn't
we just
know.
here, bro.
And for us to fulfill those rights, it's an honor. You know, the highest sense of gratitude, or how do you say, of pleasure that we get sometimes is by looking after our families.
Yeah.
Providing for
Yeah.
them. Then you feel like, yo, I feel I'm
You
a
feel
man
like the,
now.
oh,
Yeah.
I bought you that clothes. I bought you that. I put you in school. Like, it's not as an ego thing. It's just like you feel proud, man.
it
that
might be. I mean,
you
look,
were
it
able to
might tap
do
into
this.
the ego
It
just
does
a
that.
little bit.
It does that.
Yeah.
Even a
I
little
mean,
bit.
don't deny that.
but the thing is that's the thing. Allah made us
But
that
that's-
way.
that's
Men don't
what
like
makes
that.
There's
men
nothing
men.
wrong with being, with feeling good. But
That's the thing.
but how you keep the ego down is by attaching it to Allah. He
Yes.
put me in a position to be able
That's
to
the thing.
facilitate this for my children. But this is the responsibility He gave me, and because that was my intention from the get-go, I get the reward for
The,
it.
the fact that you're able to fulfill it now.
Ja.
That's that
Then
feeling.
you maar veel lekker gevul.
Yeah.
Like you just ate the Gatsby.
Like
You know what I mean?
my teacher said to me, he quoted the verse. I can't remember the verse. I think it was "Ar-rijal qawwamuna an-nisa." It's in the Quran. Allah has made the man the provider and overseer of women.
He has to protect our
So
women.
the
Yes,
man
that's
came
correct.
to do that. But in today's time, sometimes we have, and this is a very controversial topic, but it's like the roles is flipped. So Allah's telling
yeah.
you the role is this way. Man is doing that over the woman.
Yeah.
Not oppress her, tell her what to do. Because some men take it to the extreme and they think they're like this
They're the tyrant.
authoritarian in the house. And they-
Tyrant.
the tyrant in the house. Yeah, that's not.
It's
To
not
be
supposed
a
to be the
provider
case.
and overseer, you must be kind and soft and someone that actually can take care of someone, not the oppressive person. That's there's so many stories I hear in the work that I do. With females that's being abused for many years, 20
Yeah.
years plus, 15 years plus, being abused, but they can't come out because various reasons, community reasons, and so on. But my point is here on the man. That's not why Allah made you the protector, the provider, the overseer of women.
Yeah, that
You
in
must-
itself, that role in itself comes with
I've heard.
responsibilities, so
Yes.
to say, and the responsibility of being humble and kind, and that all falls upon you when you get that role.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of you're actually given this authority that you can have in the household. You have
Yeah.
this authority and you have
But-
this power, but it's up to you not to abuse that in the first place as well.
Yeah.
I
So that's what
remember,
we have as the males.
It's not, yeah. Everyone thinks like, because I've seen also, this is something now, this is now for the Muslims. I'm not talking about the non-Muslims anymore, because I know what the Muslims, they use, and this is Cape Townians particularly, they use cultural teachings. This is that verse that you spoke about now. I've seen it, there's different English transliterations of it, where it says men are the protectors and providers of women. And there's other ones that say that they're overseers of women. And then there's certain cultures that say, yeah, this means you listen to me and I'm the boss and you have no say here.
Yeah.
Shut up when I'm talking type stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then there's another one that the Cape Townians use, and if the shoe fits, wear it, me, bro. Where that, that saying that Jana lies under the feet of your mother, that's fact. But now because, so for example, say now, your mommy tell you, listen here, Igshaan, you're not marrying that girl anymore. I must listen to my mommy because Jana's under her feet. Colored, the predominant Cape colored culture, Malay culture actually, is where whatever the mother says go. Now I'm speaking about this because I've experienced this firsthand. They use certain cultural, maybe culture.
They
Let's
use
say
things out of
bid'ah
context.
type of because bid'ah is not always a bad thing, but there's certain they use things out of context and they will use verses of the Deen to get what they want. And I find that very manipulative. So I call stuff out in general everywhere I
So
go.
now we're talking to the mommies.
Yeah. So like for example, I've raised my children to
Directly,
understand.
indirectly.
Yeah. I'm talking about like for example with my wife, my children will know that your mother is very special to you. Very special to you, right? But if at any point in your life your mother is wrong, you must tell her she's wrong. And
But
the same for me.
respectfully.
But respectfully. I don't mean like I've seen people tell their mommy, they say anything. I'm like, no, just say, mommy, that's wrong. Actually, here's what.
Like
I've
you spoke
seen-
about the etiquette earlier.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's all about
Basically.
etiquette. So like I've seen people like for example, no, my mommy said this, I must listen because that's my Jannah. But your mommy told you to fluke someone out. And because it's your Jannah, you're gonna listen to your mommy, so you're gonna sin because your mommy's your Jannah. That's what I'm on about. There's a lot of that's in the I've seen that in the Muslim community a lot these days. And as a person coming in, not growing up in this religion, it's those type of things that can push people who want to become Muslim away from it. That's what I'm on about.
Especially
Because I come from a
that's
background where Christianity was my parents. They raised me. Christianity is very similar to Islam. About your parents. Your parents are like, they almost everything to you.
they second
They second, yeah, exactly.
after God.
Exactly. That's exactly how it is. The commandments speak about this. So it's like, the problem is that there is twists on it, man. There's twists. And so I come from a background where faith was more important than relationships. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think that's dangerous because a lot of people that want to become Muslim, they see the cultures of Cape Malay Muslims and not Islam. And so that's why when I became Muslim, I didn't go and ask friends or look at, your
Yeah.
mommy talks like this. I went to an imam. I was like, listen, you must learn it. And I went to another imam. Okay, you must learn it. And I think that's the important approach because there's so much cultural differences. And also to the Muslims that grew up with that culture, it's your responsibility to seek knowledge from cradle to the grave. The Deen is not culture-based, man. The Deen is the Deen.
It considers culture, yeah.
But it's not like you can't manipulate the rules to suit you, man. You know what I mean?
You
It
know, it's
don't-
interesting, a point that
Yeah.
you just mentioned now, that you said it was very faith-based. In Islam, your faith is tied to the relationships that you have. In fact, the thing that you will be, and this was taught to us in that Islamic Finance course.
yeah.
So they were talking, and it was like, you will be forgiven of your sins that is between you and Allah alone.
Yeah.
But Allah won't automatically forgive you for something you've done to someone else. That person must forgive you.
Exactly.
So when it's just you and Allah, He'll forgive you because He's most merciful. But you can't. But if you hurt someone else and the day of Qiyamah comes, Allah's going to ask that person, do you forgive him?
Yeah.
Allah might have forgiven you, but if that person say, no, I want my
They take your
peace
deeds.
because he did the X, Y, and Z to me. So that shows you that there is this link between your faith
And
and relationships with people that you,
Mm.
because I mean, you get a reward for removing the rock out of someone's, or thorn out of
path.
someone's path.
Yeah.
That has to do with someone else. And so if you live your life like it, being aware and conscious of how you affect other people, also very much in line with this topic today, then you will attain Allah's pleasure. So similarly, when you're
That's crazy,
commenting in
yeah.
other people's comment section and
Haram
calling
police.
them things, unsavory names, you know, you must be aware of how you're making that person feel when you say these things to them.
Accusation.
Because I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, the day of Qiyamah comes, that person comes back like, oh, you said X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna take, give, right? And then you sit. They take from your deeds, basically, right? They take from your
Yeah.
deeds. They take your good deeds. They give you bad deeds. You
Goblas,
know,
no?
your scale.
Goblas said this. I saw it on a video. That brother, that same
Yeah.
sermon, I think it's that same week, where we're saying, what is wrong with you people? That come, you go on Hajj, you go on Umrah, then you message everyone, saying messages, if I've wronged you, forgive me. He's like, you shouldn't have been asking for forgiveness in the first place.
Yeah.
You should have just not been a bad person. Why are you messaging me before you go on Hajj or on Umrah saying, forgive me if I've done you in the...
You know, talking about that now, what I find interesting also,
Thing, bro.
some people, they go on Umrah and Hajj, but if you look at the way the financial plan is set out, it's like, I'm talking about where there was options to choose Sharia compliant. They didn't. They consciously chose to do their will in a way that they think is best, not according to Sharia.
Because
And then they go on Umrah or they go on Hajj. I'm like,
but
my
you come
brother,
back and that's still in play.
you're breaking the law and asking for Allah on Hajj or Umrah for forgiveness. How can you expect
Now you
Allah to
come
do
back
that,
to the
but you're
same
breaking
sin.
His laws on the other side? Intentionally, because there is other options. Where there is no other options, this must be said, where there is no other options and you are forced to take something that's not Sharia compliant for whatever the reason is, then it's different. Because then there's legal maxims in Islam that's being used to make an option available. So there's a ruling, we'll just say it in English, based on necessity, you will be able to do this thing for a limited period of time.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I'm in a desert, the scholars they like to use this example. If I'm in a desert and I can't find anything to drink, but along the way I find someone they have wine on them, am I able to drink the wine? Yes. For what reason? Because the necessity is to preserve my life,
Exactly.
which is one of the maqasid of the Sharia, which is higher purpose of Sharia, is preserve my life. I can't sip the wine. I can sip on it to quench my thirst until such time I find water, and then I must change over to water.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. But here, similarly, you have to take the non-Sharia compliant life cover for now until such time that a Sharia compliant version comes out of it, and then I have to switch.
Yes.
So that's sort of the difficulty people is faced with.
And that's why this
oh,
episode had to happen.
Yes,
because that's what we wanted for the people who do see this. Now you know. Now you can't claim
The
ignorance
same
anymore.
thing with
You can't claim
investments.
ignorance anymore.
Basically, yeah.
Now you can message this, bro. You can go to the place where you work, wherever it is. You'll speak about it later. You can go there now. Even me, I'm telling myself the same thing. There's a way out, my bro. There's a way out. Now you can't claim ignorance. There's no.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, because the thing is, this, if you didn't know, can
Yeah.
you really be punished? That's the thing. Without intention, that's
Allah won't punish you for something you weren't aware of. But in today's world, where there's information overload, or you have easy access to information like ChatGPT, you can type in there,
that's a
what's
clip,
riba, what is this, what is that. You can ask ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. Use that and see what it is. Obviously, you must verify the information. Go ask the sheikh once you read it. But the information is there. That's my point.
GPT's not the real thing. It's not GPT's not the real thing.
Just
you must-
yeah, search on
I've
GPT.
tested it myself and I found some of the information I had to verify.
Of course.
But some of the information, when it's basic information like what is riba, then it will tell you its interest and what's the history of it. It will tell you because it will look on the internet and do its AI thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but okay, yeah. So like you can't claim ignorance anymore.
Yeah.
So now we need to segue again because it's almost been 2.5 hours. This is it's been a while.
Yeah.
So before we get to
talk now.
My wife always tells me that, you talk a lot.
you know what? you know, I've seen this from the
Share
time
my
I saw-
opinion.
Yeah.
You know.
From the time I saw his content a few years ago or a year or two ago, I've always said he has a very soft way of saying things. Like it's very pleasant to listen to someone like you. You have this you're the type of people that I spoke to before I became Muslim. Do you
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Alhamdulillah.
Like the softness,
It's
man.
an
Like,
honor.
you know when you look for like that's it. I'm not trying to like butt you up or anything. When I was searching for
I must keep
meaning,
my ego in check.
yeah,
You know?
he's growing a bit. They just
You
can't.
need another pillow there.
Yeah. when I was searching for answers, and I was like, I would speak to people, and the softness in the way they spoke to me was the type of the same vibe that you give. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I could speak to this person for 3 hours, 4
Barakallahu
hours.
feek.
It'd be lekker, you know. So, yeah. So now. We've only touched on a few things, but I'm sure the audience has learned something,
Yeah.
you know, about what you do. The question that they probably want to know is, how do they get in touch with you to make use of these services?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And then also secondly, like, how active are you on social media around this? Can people DM you on Instagram? Is there a number they can contact you on? Because I think that inshallah this brings you some business, but at the same time also for the rest of the people that you've learned something.
Yeah.
Because for non-Muslims, but also for the Muslims, now you can't be ignorant anymore. Get credit card. That credit card. Mikael, the credit card.
Speak to
I'm
myself
speaking
first.
Yes, the credit card. Yeah, so where can they find you, and how do we get in touch with you, and how do we make use of the services that you provide amongst the business that you work with? Well,
It's simple. People's been DMing me on TikTok. I don't always see TikTok messages, so if you go on my TikTok and you see the page, I think I put my number there. But it's either there, it's on Facebook, on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, what I did is I even put a little link there where people can click on, which can then it takes you to a place where you can make a booking. And you can select in my
Book
diary what you
consultation.
Yeah, and my consultations are free. I don't charge for that. The wills are even free. I don't charge for that as well. Look, one of the big things people might ask you, look, why must I go to him? Besides the knowledge, the mission that I have with myself is to shift Muslims away from riba, and that is it's a huge mission because a lot of people to get to. But that's why you would want to come to this, because my whole objective is to look at your portfolio. Everybody has a portfolio. What is a portfolio? I got your finance portfolio. So you got your cars, your homes, your budgeting, your saving, your investments. You got all of those things that make up your financial portfolio. My objective is to look at that, ask you the relevant questions, and see how we can take you one step at a time out of riba. You know, some things can be done immediately, so other things must be worked on. And over time, you work, maybe 5 years later, you're like, I got a fully Sharia compliant portfolio now. You know, there's not all the options in the world available yet in the Islamic finance space, but it's coming, man. There's a lot of progress being made in this
It's
space.
happening a lot now.
you're the voortrekker. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't found anybody else when you type in Sharia compliant financial advisor in Cape Town, only like 4 or 5 people come up, and you're on top of that list. You know that, right?
I've never searched
You're
myself.
the leader.
Nah, that's the
You're the
like,
leader.
and also if you look at your LinkedIn profile versus those, you have way more connections. Like, so, Mubarak, you're doing well. You know what I mean?
I mean,
You're doing well. So,
Alhamdulillah.
I'm glad. So, it's
Yeah.
like, for the people that want to reach the man, LinkedIn, get you a LinkedIn profile. Also, if you do work in the corporate space, you should have one.
Yeah.
It's a
Everybody
very
should
good-
have a
yeah.
LinkedIn
Very good
profile.
place.
but I
LinkedIn
think
is
I
like
could
a new
put
Facebook.
But
I mean, if you want my details, you want to put it up on the
Well,
screen, you can.
we will.
WhatsApp is the best
Mm.
because if you WhatsApp me, I'm like always on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But if so for those who's like they can't, they don't know where to, then Instagram, TikTok, wherever, then I will share my details from there.
We'll put everything in the bio here at the bottom, so you can the description, so you can click on it. And then, yeah, final thoughts before we go. Fritte Gatsby or something, because I'm hungry. man.
Yo, my stomach is shouting
I'm
at me,
hearing-
my
I just yelled,
guy.
bro.
My
I'm like,
stomach
you
was
hungry?
shouting now.
Any final thoughts from you? Any final
I just want to say
questions?
shukran. It's like this is something that I also needed. I'm not gonna lie, I really
100%.
did. Because I'm gonna speak to you again.
Yeah, we don't have to talk personal stuff now.
That's the only thing I was thinking about for like the past 20 minutes. Like, yo, I need to set up
Yeah,
a
some people-
consultation.
Yeah, we have to now because the thing is we're not ignorant anymore, man.
Exactly that.
But this
When
is
you
what-
were saying you can't claim ignorance, I was like, yeah,
This
neither
is-
me, I can't claim ignorance now.
This is what we do for you at home, man. We must go fix ourselves first before
We embarrass ourselves here so that you can.
Yeah,
So hopefully we'll win an award in November because of
I
this. you know,
mean,
yeah.
I mean.
So, I mean. So okay.
Yeah, that's about
Also,
it.
for the people in the comments, don't ask your personal questions in the comments.
Yeah, don't throw all the
People
washing
reveal
out.
their whole life in the comment section.
Don't throw all the washing out in the comments,
I was
yeah.
about to say, DM us if like so for us now.
Consultations are free, guys.
There we go.
It's free. You don't have to put it in the comments because you're scared you're gonna have to pay me.
That was another
Right.
question I wanted to ask you, is the fact that, like you said, the consultation is free, the walls is free. When do you start charging?
So you make when someone takes a product, for example, on the insurance side, then they pay you commission. So anybody
Okay.
that's like wanting to go into this, I don't know, people don't really talk about it, but that's how the job works. When they call it selling a product. For me, it's I'm servicing you with something.
The
And
alternative.
also be
Mindset.
careful of the people that's out there that is just trying to make money from you, because you do get, like in any industry, but you do get the people that's just vultures.
Yeah.
They're just like, here's a quote, take this, you're gonna, and then they will go with a fat commission.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scammers are real, Owens.
I believe for us as financial advisors, we have a responsibility to the people first, especially as an Islamic financial advisor. It's to give the correct advice, because they have Qiyamah, you're going to stand in front of them, you can come claim.
Yep.
If I
exactly
give you the wrong
that, yeah.
advice. So it's useless. I'm making a fat paycheck, but then I'm
More
at, the
or
expense,
more.
at the expense of my Jannah.
Exactly
Yeah,
that, yeah.
That's alright. I
Yeah.
don't want that.
Sirat is
Now you
full
take
there,
that
bro.
fat chick, you walk, you get knocked over. That chick does nothing for you now.
Yeah.
The Sirat
And
is
I
full,
can't call,
Owens.
I don't deal with people like that, but I've heard stories. I'm just saying, look, be careful.
It happens
Of
in
that.
the industry.
Yeah.
I can only speak for myself. This is what I bring.
Mm.
We are in the sales profession.
Mm.
So yes, I am a salesman. Everybody's a salesman, I believe. This podcast, you're all being salesmen.
Mm.
You know? So it's the intention behind what you're doing.
And the
So-
saying that goes, you have to sell to do well. What you sell is up to you. What you
Yeah.
sell is up to you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So more than the sales thing, look, that's how you get paid. When someone takes a product, that's how we get paid. We get a commission, a cut from what the company gets, for
Yeah.
example. They
Yeah.
calculate that, you get paid as a financial advisor. So for anybody that is thinking of becoming a financial advisor, it's not as simple as I'm saying it now, because you get things like clawbacks and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have another episode talking about that.
Inshallah.
But you get your payment like that, your commission, or your service fee, if you want to call it
Mm.
that, same thing. Or if you're doing investments, it's different. It works differently. What I spoke about now is the insurance side.
Yeah.
If you're doing investments, there's an ongoing servicing fee, because I must manage your portfolio.
Yes.
So if you've got money sitting by a portfolio manager and I'm your financial advisor,
Mm.
then on a yearly basis, twice a year, 3 times a year, you're seeing me, you paying me to make sure that your portfolio is
Stays
doing
compliant
well.
and
It's
doing
And
well.
that I'm always up to date. It becomes very personal, the relationship between
Mm.
financial advisor or financial planner and the client,
Yeah.
because I start to know who's your children, who's your grandparents, who's your wife,
Because it
when's
all
your
ties
birthday.
into that portfolio as
I
well.
just realized something now. I'm gonna have to fire my secular financial advisor now.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
No,
eh?
it's a joke, man. Because I can't be ignorant anymore. Because I know financial advisor, whether it's compliant or not, Sharia compliant or not, your role is the same to a
Yeah.
certain extent. They get to know things about you. you can know a lot about by someone by how they spend their money, man. Let's just
Yeah.
be real. So it's like it is a very personal thing. So
And one of the things that I'm also trying to focus on in my content that I'm busy doing is I'm building a series where I'm gonna look at financial literacy, because a lot of reasons why people are stuck in where they are is because they don't save. Why must they save? How must they spend them? How do you set out a budget for the month so that you stick to a goal, so that in the next 10 years you end up somewhere where you can actually do something, whether you buy a house, you wanna send your light to college, you know, anything regarding money, that it takes literacy. You can't drive a car without learning how to do it. You can't use a computer system without learning how that system actually works. You must go and learn first.
everything takes.
There's a strategy to everything,
Yeah.
man. So that's one of the big reasons why I'm also doing what I'm doing. Is to
Okay.
get
To
people into
educating
better
the-
positions. Yeah.
You're educating the ummah on how to live.
My
Better
man's got
financially.
one of those heart of golds, nah.
Yeah,
You
bruh.
know?
Yeah,
It's
money
very
money don't sway me. I must tell you that.
That's how you got into
it's
finance.
but I can say this, no, but it's the proof is in the pudding. You must come and see me if you want to see if this is who I am.
The type of pudding we're talking here. Psycho pudding.
Yeah, food. The food talk is real
okay.
now.
Yeah. I don't want to cut the episode short, so we'll definitely do a part 3 with you.
Sure.
'cause this episode will be part 2.
I think next time you come to your office
We'll
where
come.
you're based,
We'll
and
come
we
to
can
you.
come and
No,
sit
this is
there.
like a chilled.
But
What?
no,
There is an office. There is an office.
There
But
is
I'm
that.
just
The
saying,
thing is
man,
because like
Then you can take out the
we
books you're
might,
talking
we
about.
might, we might just want to dive a bit deeper into how the whole industry
Yeah.
works.
Like for
Do you know what I
example,
mean?
now you have a book
A less
there.
personal perspective and
Yeah.
more from the industry perspective, so to
Yeah,
say.
that would be interesting.
Just to
I
get
couldn't
into the
even-
finer details.
yo, then there's some people I can get in with.
Exactly.
Yo, make it
Exactly,
like
yeah.
a panel discussion. It will be quite.
Exactly.
That would be
yeah.
interesting.
And we
That
can
would be-
actually have a decent conversation and have a very more educational episode in that sense, so to say.
Or a
Sorry,
series.
that's just my
Nah,
podcast
100%.
brain working
Nah,
now.
of course. We must plan season 5 still.
You know?
We were given kudos by other podcasters for the way we plan. So we plan this is now for you at home. We plan our 10 episode seasons months before we
Yeah.
do it, and then
Yeah.
we film this. We film way before you see it. You're only gonna see this in a few months.
Yeah,
No, but
that's the.
strategy.
we've been given kudos for being very so he's
Mashallah.
thinking about next year's season
Mashallah.
already.
Yeah.
Which is great. This is why
No,
we do
that's
this
good.
together. We was not friends, but I mean, we podcast us together. So from my side, I just want to shukran for coming. I appreciate it. You know, you are everything that you show yourself to be on social media. We've spoken now for more than 3 hours. So shukran for coming. Like I said, I can't claim ignorance anymore, so I will be reaching out to you. And anyone in my family or my wife's family that has seen my podcast, you do watch. That's must for you. You must also
Yeah.
come now.
Just
So
watch.
we-
You need to sit down with my entire
You're
family.
gonna probably see.
We're gonna
Yeah, you're
we're gonna come
see-
have lunch there.
Yeah. You're gonna
One
get-
massive consult.
It's gonna happen, but inshallah that's the case because that's good. Everybody should strive, like you said, to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I
Here
think
we
that's
go.
important. So shukran for coming, we appreciate it. Anything you wanna say to the audience before we close the show off?
I think first thing is this is not a guilt trip episode for people listening.
You said that at the end of the episode after 2 hours, bro.
You can play this in the beginning to snapshot it. You know? Get
Coming
people
up-
interested. What's he talking about? Guilt tripping? Yeah, just
Smart.
I'm saying this because sometimes people feel guilt tripped when I talk about this stuff. It's not my intention. My intention is to inspire towards action, to make better, to take better steps with the finances to attain Allah's pleasure. That's it. I can't make you do anything. I can't tell anybody how to do their finances. I can only show you the strategies and try and inspire through doing things like this. I would say shukran to you guys also for inviting me to be on the podcast. First time sharing my story. So also sometimes when you tell your own story, you learn things about yourself also.
Yeah.
Just like you,
Yeah,
you bring back memories. You
I
know?
was gonna say, yeah, you were going into your history there, and it looked like while you were saying it, you
Stuff
were
is coming
trying
back.
to like, yo, that actually
That
happened. and this
happened,
is like
yo.
this, and then
It's
I would
nice.
say a big part. This is not an easy business to be in. And I'll end off on this, but a big shukran to my parents also, especially because of how I grew up. It had a major impact on my resilience in this business. It's not an easy business to be in, especially with that fudge business when they started it. Yo, it was hectic. So we worked within the business and when it's still going. It's still fudge now. Dad's working in a factory where they're making sweets now. So it grew from there to that, but it was slugging, making failing until it was bang. So similarly here, Islamic finance might not yet be at its peak, but I promise you, if you get more people like myself and some of the scholars that I'm working with and more of the other people getting interest into this, then Islamic finance is eventually going to become the way to go. It's not what
Inshallah.
people think. It doesn't make money. It makes money. There's evidence to show for it.
There's barakah in it. That's the thing.
That's the most
Barakah.
important thing.
There's barakah
There's
in
barakah
it.
in
It's
this,
not
yeah.
about the fact that you don't see the money. There's barakah in it, and you just have to believe that the goodness that comes from it is. It's
Exactly.
You will sleep better at night.
I think you must have an episode on what barakah is.
You see, the thing is
Oh, bruh.
this. We've got so many
Just that.
people
We're not
lined
talking
up.
about the porches that everybody walks home with.
Not the
after
barakah.
function.
yeah, right? Yeah, that's good because I forgot we have non-Muslim show people watch show as well. For the non-Muslims, barakachis. That we're not talking about barakah is literally the sustenance and the joy, right? The
It's the
sustenance.
blessings.
Blessings.
It
Barakah
includes
is blessings.
barakah is that thing that makes your time feel like it's expanding. It's barakah is that thing that make it feel like your money is just stretching and going on forever.
like you
Like,
just
yo,
have
how did I
money.
do all this?
And I still
It's-
have. It's like you just have. You just have.
Yeah. I know that's the thing. Yeah.
You can't put one word to it.
There's
It's
so
all
many
encompassing.
things,
There's so many things, yo.
But yeah, that's where I'll end off, bro.
Okay.
Shukran so much for having
We
me.
will-
Afwan, bro.
We will, Afwan bro, it's been a lot thing. What we will do is we will put all Igshaan's details in the comment section here at the bottom or in the description. Like you said, if you have any personal beef with your auntie or your cousin or your titi, don't put it in our comment section on the clips or on the video. Rather send us an email and DM us about it or reach out to him directly.
Yeah, let's go have a coffee
Um,
about it.
You know,
You
or
know?
something, yeah. You know
It's
what I
free.
mean?
You pay for
I
your
share
coffee.
tissues
like
as well.
consultant.
Yes, I mean,
I give
yo.
tissues as well.
Okay,
You wanna cry?
yes. And of course, if you like this video, CJ, like, if you like our
What's
content,
the
rather.
sequence?
Wait. If you like this content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. We will see you in a few weeks. Safe.